Maybe you're the extroverted person that likes to hang out all the time and has to be the show of attention. Maybe you're the leader who everyone relies on for help. Or maybe you're the revolutionary where people look to you to answers for society's problems. Or you're the lover who only has eyes for his one and only. Or you can be a part of the most exclusive group of all, introverts. My worldview, as far as my personality and thinking style, is more so nonchalant, meaning I have this personal philosophy that I have adapted to, and as I've gone through the degree program I'm currently in, um, it's manifested itself into my life philosophy, which is um, you can't change what others do around you or in your environment, but you can change how you react to them. And in taking on that, I think my life has become a lot more peaceful because you can't control what others do to you, but you can control how you react to them. You know, I've taken, as far as my beliefs, taken that. My beliefs are, I'm traditional. Um, I like change. I think change is evolution, but at the same time, I think some values are worth keeping around. Um, as far as my religion, I'm not necessarily religious, but I am spiritual. Um, they do come from Christian background, but do I believe everything in the Bible doesn't have to be questioned? No, I don't believe that. I think there are some things that needs to be questioned in every religion. So when I say, towards attitudes, you can't stop somebody from having a bad attitude. I feel like people allow certain things to put them in a specific place where they react emotionally. And I am an emotional person. And throughout my life, I've let emotion cloud my judgment into certain things. So when now, in the past 10 years or so, I've grown to not to react to certain things. In taking some of the personality and thinking styles instruments, it only confirmed what I always knew about myself. I'm detailed oriented, I'm creative, I'm dependable, I like things a certain way, but I also like change and evolution and I like doing things my unique way. Not necessarily traditional, but I am a traditionalist if that makes any sense. Like in some aspects of my life, I like to be traditional, but in other aspects is necessary for change to happen. And in those instruments that I took within the first 4 weeks of this course, it just confirmed everything that I always knew. My first literary connection so far in this course would be the book The Skin I'm In, which we had to do for another assignment. And I picked this book because I read it a few years ago and it sticks with me today because it speaks to the point of view of a child and the point of view of an adult how adults have things happen to them when they're children, and when they grow up, they still have those same emotional, psychological need for an explanation of why this happened. And I think a lot of adults, I know I do, I really think about my childhood and about the events that happened in my life. And I realize they are what made my personality. I don't necessarily voice everything that's happened to me. I don't voice anything unless I've held it in for so long. And then once I let it out, everything seems to come out, which is the introvert in me. I don't like to have people take pity on me because I feel that is a sign of weakness. Even though I know it's not, still to me, I have a hard time expressing myself. The mirror window connection to this literary work is I can identify with both Malika and Mrs. Saunders. When I was younger, I was always insecure about my skin because I have eczema and I had it so bad going growing up that people would actually tease me and call me different names. I went home crying so many times. And as I've grown up, I've realized, hey, I'm going to have this forever. So I'm going to love me and I'm going to take control of this eczema. I'm going to get it under control. So as I grew up, in high school, it started to get better. And then once I got into college and graduated from high school, um, my self-esteem boosted. Um, and I identify with Mrs. Saunders because even though she has the birthmark on her face and all the kids are like laughing at it and pointing at it and talking about her, she's like, I'm going to turn this into a lesson that other people's opinions really don't matter. It's how you see yourself. How do you see yourself going out into the world? Are you going to let the world beat you down and and take pity on you and throw stones at you? No, you're not. You're going to stand up and say, hey, this is me. You accept it whether you like it or not. And that is why I identify closely with Mrs. Saunders rather than Malika. But I identify with the theoretical framework that goes with what I'm talking about would be Freud's theory of personality. In Freud's theory, he states that there are three parts: ID, ego, and superego. And in layman's terms, um, ID, the first stage would be, oh, I want something right now, which would be what any newborn or baby would do. You know, if you don't give it, I need it now. Whatever the consequences is, I want it now. Um, Ego, the next stage would be, what can I do to get it? What am I going to plan? How am I going to get this thing that I want? And then there's the super ego, is basically you really don't need it. The realization that you really don't need that thing that you're trying to get. And I put this theory with this book, with this novel, because Malika really wanted acceptance. And she was borrowing clothes from the very people that were picking on her, and getting her into trouble just to be accepted. And in the end, she ended up not even she ended up getting into so much trouble that she just, you know what? I don't need to do all of what I'm doing right now to be accepted. I have to accept myself. I have to love myself. And I connected with her on that level because I really did want to be connected with someone. I had my friends, but I wasn't popular. I wanted to be the person that knew everybody. I wanted to have friends because I was an only child. I wanted friends, but in the end, my friends that I made me realize, hey, it's not about quantity of friends, it's the quality. And if you have a small quality of friends, that is really all I ever needed.